Okay, welcome back everyone to part 2 of this playthrough of Arkham Horror the card game, the Night of the Zealot campaign. When I left you, we had a little dilemma on our hand. We either had to burn the house down or not burn the house down. Some of you have direct messaged me. There's a couple of comments on the video itself, and the overwhelming consensus was that we should go to resolution 1, which is burn the house down. So let's just read through where that takes us at the end of the gathering. You nod and allow the red-haired woman to set the walls and floor of your house ablaze. The fire spreads quickly and you run out of the front door to avoid being caught in the inferno. From the sidewalk you watch as everything you own is consumed by the flames. Come with me, the woman says. You must be told of the threat that lurks below. Alone we are surely doomed, but together we can stop it. In your campaign log, record that the house was burned to the ground. The lead investigator earns the Lita Chandler asset and may include it in their deck. This card does not count towards your deck size. So now we have Lita Chandler coming to join us. I'll shuffle that in a sec. The lead investigator suffers 1 mental trauma from watching his home become a smouldering ruin. So Roland is a little bit traumatised by that. Each investigator earns experience equal to the victory X value for each card in the victory display. So we had 2 for the Ghoul Priest that we killed, and then we get an additional bonus 2 here that it states because we have gained insight into the hidden world of the mythos. So that was 4 XP that we gained in the last scenario. So the way that XP works is in between scenarios you can upgrade your deck. If this Ghoul Priest wasn't defeated, he would now be shuffled into the encounter deck for this scenario. But as you remember, we beat him up. So he is gone. So he goes away. So yeah, as I was saying, the way that deck upgrades work is in between scenarios you can spend your XP to upgrade your deck. So what I did was I decided to spend 1 XP each on 2 copies of In the Know. In the Know uses 3 secrets. It's got an action: spend 1 secret, investigate. Investigate any revealed location in play as if you were at that location, which is pretty awesome, because if you've got monsters chasing you around the board and you've got a clue right over the other side that you've revealed, doesn't matter where you are, you can investigate for that. So that's cool. It's only got 3 secrets, it says, so that's basically 3 charges. When you pay the cost of it, it goes into play. You put 3 resource tokens on it to act as the 3 secrets, and as you spend them you can use that action. So I spent 2 XP on that, which I thought was pretty worthwhile, and then I spent another 2 XP upgrading my Colt 32. As a consequence of that, you then have to remove cards from your deck, because your deck size can only be the maximum that's stipulated on your player card. Ours is 30. So I had to remove the old Colt, the one I just upgraded, and I thought I'll get rid of 2 copies of deduction as well. So that was how I spent my XP to upgrade the deck. I've left Dr. Milan out here as a little mental note to myself that when we played last time, if you remember, the rotting remains caused me to take 2 mental damage, and I put 1 on Dr. Milan and then 1 on Roland, and then later on rotting remains came up again. I should have had, I think, 2 mental trauma, and instead of putting 3, instead of putting the 3 on me, I put all 3 on Dr. Milan. And I said to you that the good thing about this game is that you can put all of the damage onto 1 asset and kill it out of the game. That's not in fact true. So what should have happened there was I would have put the second mental trauma on Dr. Milan Christopher, which had killed him, and Roland would have taken the additional 2. I did check through the video, and it doesn't actually affect the end of the game. It had no game effect. Roland would still have survived, but he would have just had a different mental trauma than you'd have seen in the video. Also, there was a mistake where I took 2 resources at the end of one of the rounds. I thought I'd forgotten to take one, and I took another one, which I shouldn't have done. But very early in the game, when I played Dr. Milan Christopher and we got the initial first 2 clues, I forgot to use Dr. Milan's reaction ability, which is where you get 1 resource for every clue that you gather. So the end result would have been I would have been 1 resource higher than I was at the end of the game. So, you know, no foul there. It was just, you know, an error on my part. It's one of the good things about recording a video and playing it back, is that you can actually see that, oh my days, I made some mistakes, which is fine. That's how we learn, right? Okay, so that explains the upgrades I did. We've now got Lita Chandler in the deck, and we've also got our upgraded cards there ready to go. So now that's all shuffled in, ready to go. New cards in the deck. The encounter deck's there. Give that another little shuffle. I did shuffle it before, but let's just double check. There's a couple of things that you can see here that are slightly different than they were before. You can obviously now see the tokens there. This is the chaos bag that I was drawing from last time. So that shuffling noise you heard going on before, that was what I was doing. I was putting tokens out of there. Also over here, this is a separate set aside deck. In here are some cultist enemies that we are going to be hunting down in this scenario. But I'll get to that in a second. These cards here that you can see, these are actually cards that may or may not end up going into my deck, depending on what comes out of my deck. I'll explain that as it happens. This card here is the scenario card. Basically, it tells you what the individual tokens do. So if you remember, a tablet last time, which I did pull, was worth -2. In this scenario, if you pull a tablet out of the chaos bag, it's worth -3. And if you fail, you place one of your clues on your location. That's a really, really cool thing about this living card game, is this chaos bag, because it's not dice driven. It's driven by pulling these tokens out of the bag, and inevitably there's always one of these picture tokens, one or more of these picture tokens in this bag. On each scenario, the game designers can make those mean different things. Really, really cool mechanic. Love that about this game. Makes it very cool. Okay, so we're going into scenario 2 of the Night of the Zealot, which is the Midnight Masks. In the wake of the disaster at your home, Lita Chandler, the red-haired woman from your parlour, lays out a tale that, even in the light of what you've just witnessed, strains the limits of your belief. The creatures in your home, she claims, are called ghouls, cruel beings who plague the crypts, caverns and tunnels beyond the city of Arkham. These creatures feed on the corpses of humans, and they are served by a dark cult within Arkham, whose members have inexplicably come to worship the ancient masters of the ghouls. This cult has been killing innocent people and feeding them to the ghouls, satiating a monstrous hunger. A dark balance was maintained, until now. Recently, Lita continues, one of their lairs, where the corpses were stored, was destroyed. Since then, the ghouls have been more active than usual. I've tracked their movements and tried my best to stop them from running amok through the city, but I think there's something worse going on. The cult has been planning something darker and more ominous than anything I've yet observed. Indications are that this plan shall come to fruition tonight, shortly after midnight. Beyond that, I cannot fathom what to expect. Many of the cultists, Lita continues, will seem like everyday people, despite their foul intentions. Whenever the cult meets, its members don masks shaped like the skulls of various animals to protect their identities from one another. These masks are our mark, symbols of death and decay. We must unmask the cultists to expose and derail their plans. We have but a few hours. The more cultists we find before midnight, the better. So then we continue on to setup, which I've already done. I've already explained to you about the set-aside cultists. There's a number of things that you can add into the chaos bag or remove, or add into play or remove, depending on what you've done so far. Because our house was burnt to the ground, you'll notice that this setup of locations, there appears to be a location missing here. That's because we burnt the house down. If we didn't, we would have our house there and we would start playing our house, but we burnt that down. It was a hellhole. It was rubbish. better off without it. Okay, so here we go. Let's just read our agenda. Agenda 1A, Predator or Prey. Lita seems convinced of a conspiracy in the city of Arkham. She believes that a secret cult serves the ghouls that live in the crypts beneath the city, and that several of the cult's prominent members are scattered throughout Arkham. As you begin searching for them, you can't shake the feeling that you too are being hunted. We've got a resign ability here, so it says action resign. You don't want to risk taking too long, so you head to safety with the information you've gathered. And there's a shroud value of 6, so not too much time. And then we have Act 1A, Uncovering the Conspiracy. You have 1 night to find the members of this cult and unveil their plan. The more members of the cult you can find and interrogate before midnight, the better. Action. The investigators spend 2 clues per investigator as a group. Draw the top card of the cultist deck. Objective, find as many unique cultist enemies as you can and add them to the victory display. If there are 6 unique cultist enemies in the victory display, advance. And then there's a little note at the bottom that says, note, not all 6 of them are in this cultist deck. Okay, so there's no clue threshold there. We've just simply got to find as many cultists as we can, hopefully all 6. And if we can't find all 6, then we've always got the option to resign. Right, we took some mental trauma last time. We're ready to go. So, without further ado, let's just give one last shuffle to Roland's deck. And let's see what the Elder Ones have in store for us tonight. Oh, hello. Chucked a knife at me. Outrageous behaviour, Roland. Okay, so as before, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards as an opening hand. Guard Dog we like, Dr. Milan we like. Colt 32 we like. What's the new upgraded one as well? No stone unturned. Choose and investigate your location. Investigate searches the top 6 cards of her deck for a card, draws it, and then shuffle her deck. Working a hunch as well. Discover a clue at your location. That's not bad, is it really? Alright, I think, you know what, I think it's quite expensive though, isn't it? I could do with getting some money, so maybe I'll shuffle that back in and that back in. Keep those 2. Draw another 2 to make us back up to 5. Remember about weaknesses, they don't get played, they get shuffled back in. Alright. So all of those cards we discarded, let's shuffle those back. Let's have a little think. So we start in Rivertown. Another thing I forgot to mention is the way that these locations work is, this is the icon for your location. These icons here show you the locations you can go to from this location. Can be a bit confusing, which is why I've got these expensive location markers here that they are available for sale on my website for about £50 each, or you could just go to Hobbycraft and get them dirt cheap there. So yeah, I've just laid that out to give me a bit of sense of geography. Not all locations lead to each location, so there's little pathways there to help us find our way. That's shuffled. Right, let's reveal the Rivertown location. Little flavour text on the front here. The banks of the Miskatonic River are lined with docks, warehouses and small shops in a district aptly named Rivertown. Flip that over. 1 clue per investigator. So we start off with a clue there. Shroud value of 1, pretty easy to search. Let's get Dr. Milan out again because he is our boy. First action, Dr. Milan. Second action, I haven't got enough for anything other than magnifying glass. I probably do want to get a weapon out at some point, so do I spend that clue to get this out at this point? No, I don't. Second action, investigate at Rivertown. So I am currently 4 on 1, +3, -3. Would you believe it? Perfect. Gain that clue. Third action. Get out of Rivertown. Where shall I go? Southside. Middle class houses with gambrod roofs crowd together between the streets of Southside. The neighbourhood is known for its cultural and social landmarks such as South Church, Mars Boarding House and the Historical Society. This another cool thing about this game is it crosses over with a lot of the other Arkham products that Fantasy Flight games produce. So if you've ever played Arkham Horror the board game, those names will be very familiar to you. One clue here, Shroud value of 2. It's got an action as well. Search your deck for an ally asset and add it to your hand. Shuffle your deck, limit once per game. Now that's cool. It's got a little bit of flavour text about Mars Boarding House as well. It says Mars is famous for its cheap rooms, mystery meat Mondays. A motley variety of characters can be found coming and going at all times of day. Okie doke. Right, so then that's our turnover. I'll flip that over. My friend Robin will appreciate that. Then it's the monster phase, enemy phase, sorry. No enemies hunting, so nothing happens there. Upkeep phase, reset all actions, so flip Roland over, flip over his action tokens, draw 1 card from our encounter deck, overpower, gain 1 resource. Very good. Mythos phase, right, so why did I put these tokens here? That's going to throw me. 1 of 6, and then an encounter card for Roland. Roland gets Wizard of the Order. He's a humanoid cultist. Combat 4, Strength 2, Evade 2. Spawn any empty location and retaliate. Forced, at the end of the Mythos phase, place 1 Doom on the Wizard of the Order. Now, we don't really want him hanging around then, do we? So why don't we stick him in the hospital, because that's where I'm planning on going next after I've finished in Southside. So he goes there. Then it's over to us. Now we've got 2 resources. I could play my cult to help me go in and deal with the wizard. Kind of want that clue first though. Investigate. I will investigate 5 on 2, so I'm +3 again. -2, lovely. So I've got my clue. Remember this action here, the investigators spend 2 clues per investigator as a group to draw the top card of the cultist deck. If I draw that cultist out, he could sort of spawn anywhere. He could spawn engage with me, which might give me some problems. So I really think I want to get my weapon out before I do that. So second action, I will spend my 2 resources to play my cult. You'll remember from last time that I get 6 ammo for this, but because this is the upgraded cult, it's got an additional little bit on it. It's cheaper to play. The original cult was 3 resources to pay, this one's 2. And also underneath it's got this little action, free action here, spend 1 resource and return it to your hand. So if for any reason you run out of ammo, spend a resource, pop it back in your hand, play it again, it's got 6 ammo on it again. That's hilarious. So there we go. Colt. Third action, don't want to go in there because he'll engage with me and hurt me at the end of the round. So third action, got no resources. I'm going to draw a card, hope for emergency cash. No, vicious blow. But that will be useful when dealing with that dude. 3 actions done. Excellent. So then it is enemy phase. He is not a hunter, so he stays there. Don't take any damage because he doesn't attack. Reset. I forgot to do that again. Reset all actions. Got to flip that over at the end of your turn. Draw a card. No stone unturned. Gain a resource. Doom goes on the agenda. Bad things happen. Wings of Darkness. Revelation. Test 4 evade. If you fail, take a damage and a horror, then disengage from each non-Nightgaunt enemy engaged with you and move to a central location. So basically this thing's going to pick me up and dump me back in central, which is quite annoying. Unless I can evade him, which is absolutely impossible because I'm 2 on 4. Ugh. So I fail. And I've got to take a damage and a horror. So let's put damage and a horror. Let's give Milan a horror, me a damage. Then this guy flies me back to the central, dumps me off, he gets discarded. Right, back to me again. Back where I started, look. So I will, this time, let's go the other way, see if I can find out what's in Miskatonic University. Or do I get the cultist out? Let's get the cultist out. Oh no. At the end of the Mythos phase, put a doom on him. Right. That's now, we're on 3 doom of 6. I've got to sort this guy out. Right. I'm going to do that. I'm going to move for 1. Move for 2. I don't know. I'm going to go the other way. Move for 1. 4 shroud, 2 clues, just to see what's there, you know, open up another pathway. There's an action there. We're not going to use it right now, so I won't bother explaining that. Move for 2, down here. He engages with me. Hello, Wizard of the Order. Are you well? And then my third action will be to fight him. If I use my gun, I get +1 damage. I'm going to use my overpower instead of using my gun. So I'm on 6, 4, 5, 6 versus 4. And I will use my vicious blow, which puts me 7 on 4. That's +3. That's quite a meaty attack. So +3, -1. Good. Because it does +1 damage, which puts 2 damage on him. Kills him. When he goes out of play, the doom goes off him as well, which is even better. So he's gone, doom's gone. That test was successful. That gets discarded. Because I played my overpower, I get to draw a card and it was a successful test. That's not good. That is my basic weakness. At the start of the game, you always shuffle in 1 random basic weakness. I've got hypochondria. Add hypochondria to your threat area. Forced. After you take 1 or more damage, take 1 direct horror. I can use 2 actions to discard hypochondria, but I can't do that this round because I've used 1, 2, fight, 3 actions. My turn's over. Right, so I'm pleased that that guy's gone because he was annoying. Then enemy phase, nothing happens. Refresh everything. Draw a card. Measures of cash, that was what I was looking for, that's good. Gain a resource. Put 1 doom onto the agenda. Draw a card. Hunting Shadow from the encounter deck. Peril. Revelation, you must either choose 1, spend 1 clue or take 2 damage. What is this nonsense? Do I spend a clue? I didn't even reveal St Mary's Hospital. Let's do that while I'm here. St Mary's Hospital. Oh, action, heal 3 damage. And there's a clue there. Alright, well, let's take... Swings and roundabouts, isn't it? We want to get rid of that. Think John, think John. I will take... Shroud 2. You know what, I'll lose a clue to get rid of that. Then it's my turn. I'm going to spend 2 actions to get rid of hypochondria because I don't want that hanging around my neck. Then I'm going to investigate 5 on 2 skull. Alright, skull is -X, where X is the highest number of doom on a cultist enemy in play. There aren't any now, so that goes. Game of Clue. Do you know what? I've forgotten to do this again. So Dr. Milan, he should have given me 3 resources, right? Because 2 before, 1 that I just got rid of, and then that one. So 1, 2, 3. You know what? I shouldn't be allowed out on my own because this is ridiculous. Just got 0 memory. Right, so 2 actions to get rid of that. 3rd action was investigate. Roland done. Again, no monsters. Flip that over. Draw a card. Dr. Milan again. Right, Dr. Milan has got this little symbol at the start of him, which is a unique symbol. That means that you can never have 2 cards the same by name in play. So he's useless apart from just giving me a book icon. Unless, of course, we decide to kill off our Dr. Milan, then we could play him again because there wouldn't be any in play. That's that. Gain a resource. Doom on the agenda. Doomy doom. 4 of 6. Crypt Chill, Revelation, test 4 willpower. If you fail, choose and discard 1 asset you control. And if you cannot, take 2 damage instead. 4 willpower. My willpower is 3. I've got 1 icon that could make it up to a 4, which I'll use because 4 is better than 3, but it's still not good. So I'm on 4 versus 4. -1, fail. That goes away. Choose and discard an asset you control. So that's either in play or in my hand. I've got a Dr. Milan, I've got a magnifying glass, or a guard dog. They're my 3 assets that I have in hand. I like my guard dog. Dr. Milan, he's expensive. Let's bump him off. So spare Dr. Milan has gone. Crypt Chill goes back to us. Time to have a little think. Let's play Magnifying Glass fast for 1. Move to the university for my first action, remembering this is fast. Investigate. 3, 4, 5. 5 on 4. Ooh, nice. Gain a clue. And don't forget, John, resource for Dr. Milan's reaction ability. You fool. Then going to investigate again on a punt to see if I can get that second clue. I'm +1 on this test. Ugh, that failed. Shame. Right, no monsters in play anywhere. No. Cool, so no damage. Then let's refresh everything. Draw a card. Dynamite. That saved our bacon last time. Gain a resource. Put 1 doom on the agenda, taking us to 5 of 6, which is not very good. Locked door, revelation attached to the location with the most clues on it without a locked door attached. The attached location cannot be investigated. That's here. So there's a action here, test 4 combat to break down the door, or 4 evade to pick the locks. If you succeed, discard locked door. I might just leave that there. I'm not really that bothered about that clue. I don't want to waste time failing tests. So it's back to us. I'm going to spend my 2 clues as a first action. Oh, I could be cheeky, couldn't I? I could be cheeky. I'm going to spend 2. Play scene of the crime. Play as only as your first action. Discover 1 clue at your location, even with a locked door on it. I love that. So that's my first action. Second action, I'm going to spend 2 clues to reveal the first cultist. we have Herman Collins, the Undertaker. Spawn in the graveyard. He's a humanoid cultist. Combat 3, strength of 4, evade 4. He's got an action. Choose and discard 4 cards from your hand to parlay and add Herman to the victory display. So we don't have to fight him. We could parlay with him like we did with Lita. That's worth considering. So Herman's in the graveyard. So that's my second action. Third action. Do I head towards Herman or do I pull out another cultist? I've got 2 clues there. Third action, I'm going to get another cultist out. Oh, Wolfman Drew, he's a beast. He's a cannibal. He's got a combat of 4, strength of 4 and evade of 2. Humanoid cultist, he spawns downtown. Force, when Wolfman Drew attacks, heal 1 damage from him. He's got some flavour text that said Drew is a long-time patient of the Arkham Asylum. Rumour has it he was locked up for committing cannibalism several years ago. He's considered extremely dangerous. Goes without saying. Let's pop him downtown. Right, so now we've revealed 2 cultists. We've actually got to get them in the victory display to satisfy the criteria for this. It's no good just having them out. They've got to be either parlayed with, defeated or whatever to count. So, end of our turn. Now neither of these are hunters, so they're just going to sit where they're spawned. We will flip our cards, draw a card, Rowan's 38, gain a resource. Put Doom on the agenda, which will cause, well, yeah, Doom on the agenda, 6 of 6, which causes it to flip. So all 6 Doom, and also any Doom that's on any player card or in the area would go as well, but there aren't any. We flip agenda 1A. Oh hello. Reveals the Masked Hunter, silently stalking. Humanoid cultist elite, combat of 4, strength of 4, evade of 2. Spawn engaged with prey. Prey is the investigator with the most clues. I'm the only one here. It's me. The Masked Hunter gets +2 health per investigator. While you are engaged with the Masked Hunter, you cannot discover or spend clues. It's kind of done as a favour really, because he's clearly the 6th cultist that we were looking for. There was only 5 in there. He's popped out, he's the 6th. Then we go to agenda 2A. Time is running short. The minutes pass quickly as your investigation continues. Action, resign. You don't want to risk taking too long, so you head for safety with the information you've gathered. So we've still got that resign ability to be able to monopolise on. Right, so that was the Doom threshold met, which triggered that. Then the encounter deck happens, which reveals a Hunting Night Gaunt, which is surprisingly a hunter. While attempting to evade the Hunting Night Gaunt, double the negative modifier for each revealed chaos token. Oh, so he's hard to get away from. So I've now got 2 enemies on me, and it's my turn. Might be time to get that cult out, or that would be fun. Shall I do that? Yeah, come on. That's a bit of fun, isn't it? Let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, tell you what. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's not do that. Yes, let's. Come on, why not? Come on, let's live life, eh? Only live once. Play dynamite. 3 damage on me. Ouch. 3 damage on the Masked Hunter. Ouch. 3 damage on the Night Gaunt. Ouch. He's got 6 health though. He's a meaty boy. Right, I'm going to fight now. Second action, fight. Using my Colt. Spend 1 ammo, fire, you fight. You deal +1 damage for this attack. Spend 1 resource to turn. Well, I don't need to do that. So my fight is 4, still 4, because that only does +1 damage. Oh, hello, there's a woodlice there. Keep your eye on him. I'm going to chuck in that to give me another 2. So I'm 4, 5, 6 on 4, so I'm +2 on the Masked Hunter skull. X2, minus X. X is the number of doom on a cultist enemy in play. None. That puts 2 damage on him. 1 damage from me. 1 damage from the cult. So he's now on 5 of 6. First action dynamite, second action hit the Masked Hunter. Third action hit the Masked Hunter again. Not going to use my cult this time. Going to chuck in my guard dog. That's gone. Chuck in my guard dog to give me 5 on 4. I don't like this. 5 on 4. No, that's not good. -3. That's a fail. That's not good. Guard dog's gone. That attack failed. I'm really wishing I evaded them now. Enemy phase. Masked Hunter hits me for 2 health, putting me on 6 of 9 already. Hunting Nightgaunt does 1 health and 1 horror. I'm looking really in a bad way now. Oh dear. So then flip, flip, flip. Don't need to flip, forgot to do it. Sorry, Robin. Draw a card. In the no, that's a cool card, you see. That's the one where I can hunt at any I can investigate any location. Not good for now, but maybe later. Gain a resource. Doom on our new agenda, which is 1 of 8. And then encounter card, false lead, revelation. If you have no clues, false leads gain surge. If you have 1 or more clues, test for intellect. For each one you fail by, place 1 of your clues on the location. Now I've got no clues, so that gains surge. Surge simply means you just pull the next one off the top of the deck. Mysterious chanting. Place 2 doom on the nearest cultist in play. Okay. If there are no cultists in play, search the encounter deck and discard pile for a cultist enemy and draw it. Luckily there are. Don't want to be searching for more of them. Put it on the Masked Hunter. Okay, then it's us again. So now it's time to try and hurt the Hunting Nightgaunt. Sorry, the Masked Hunter again. Actually, I've got better odds against the Hunting Nightgaunt, so I'm going to try fighting him first. 4 versus 3. So I'm on a +1. -3. Fail. Same again. +1. Instant fail. Oh no, this is going so bad. I'm going to die. Same again. +1. -2. That's a fail. Ouchie, ouchie. End of the round. End of my turn, sorry. Next up, monsters attack. 2 health damage from the Masked Hunter and 1 horror. 2 health damage will kill me. I'm going to die here. I'm literally dying right now. So let's do it anyway. So 1 goes on Dr. Milan. 2 health damage and 1 horror from him. So 1 goes on Dr. Milan and kills him. 1 goes on me. The horror goes on me because he's dead. Then Hunting Nightgaunt attacks me. He does 1 horror and 1 health damage. Put me on 4 horror and 9 health. 4 horror, I survive. 9 health, I do not. I die. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That is the end of this scenario. So very quick, and we actually found no cultists. So there's no resolution dilemma for us to sort out this time. If no resolution was reached, each investigator resigns or was defeated. Read resolution 1. You managed to obtain some useful information about the cult and its plan. You can only hope it's enough. In your campaign log, under cultists we interrogate, Record the names of each unique cultist enemy in the victory display. There are none. They're all still in play or in there, so we actually saved none. In your campaign log under cultists who got away, record the name of each unique enemy still remaining in the cultist deck or in play. So we have Wolfman Drew, Herman Collins, the Masked Hunter, and Ruth Turner, Victoria Devereaux and Peter Warren all going into the campaign log as cultists who got away. Dreadful. Dreadful. If the Ghoul Priest is in the victory display, we killed him, so that's fine. Each investigator earns experience equal to victory X value of each card in the victory display, so nothing for that. Locations have got victory points on them as well when you finish resolving the clues, so we get 1 XP for that one, and that is it. So we've literally got 1 experience point. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. And that is the end of today's playthrough of Arkham Horror the card game, The Night of the Zealot, Scenario 2, The Midnight Masks. Thank you so much for watching again. Clearly I'm not very good at this, despite having played the game about 200 times. But hey, that's Arkham, right? I'll try and get the next video recorded for you, and yeah, hopefully that'll be up online in a couple of days. Thanks for watching. See you soon.